I don't think giving kids worksheet to do um, help them learn. I think there's something that I've been noticing with my students. This is my first time teaching. I'm teaching chemistry. My background is in engineering, but I've noticed a few things um, with the students. One, they're more concerned about getting the worksheet, the work period. So what is the work that I have to do? I don't, and they're more concerned about doing that work to get a grade than learning. They and so I give them a worksheet. They fill it out, and then I give them a grade sometimes. Um, or most of the time. That's how some teachers are doing. That's what some of the methods of teaching have suggested to do. Um, whether it's a guided notes or whether it's a worksheet, they just want to do the worksheet. They don't want to pay attention to what I have to say in class or anything like that. When I give them the worksheet, if I give them an early before I finish presentation, um, the mini lesson, what they call it, 15-minute mini lesson, um, which in my opinion doesn't set the students for success in the future, because in college sometimes you have to sit down through 2 hours of class and the instructor just stuck in there, you're taking notes. Yeah, it's not preparing them well for college from a perspective. Um, um, and then they're just more concerned about filling a worksheet, and again, I don't think filling a worksheet is the right way of learning. I never used worksheets before when I was in school. This is years before. This is years back when I was in high school. They did give me one thing. They gave me a textbook, and I had my textbook for the class that I was taking. Some of the textbooks were big and heavy, and I get it. They're big and heavy, especially the science one. We had to read the textbook. We have to do problems in the textbooks, and so there was that part of learning that you had to do afterwards, and especially like when I got in college, there is a part of learning that happens afterwards. Not all learning is going to happen immediately. Thinking that learning is something that happens, just go to class, you do it in class, you are learning there. Um, Afterwards, you can go and forget and go with your life. No, certain things you have to study and re-study and to learn it properly. It's like when you're trying to learn, and I've been interested lately in learning magic. You have to practice a lot. Like I taught myself how to juggle, and and I spent time practicing my juggling skills, just to get one trick down, just to improve my skills. So there's learning that has to happen outside, um, of school, outside of the classroom, that has to happen too. Um, all in all, life is about learning all the time. We think that we know everything. We are just concerned ourselves to learning and improving ourselves or improving our skills. But again, let's go back to a worksheet. I don't think worksheets are good for learning. And the thing is, like, I've seen my students and arriving, and I don't teach in a public school. I teach in a charter school because I don't have a teaching certificate. I'm an engineer. That's what I'm going to school for. I have a degree in chemical engineering and a master's in environmental engineering. Um, and so so again, giving just a worksheet, from what I've seen, is like students are more upset about getting the worksheet and working on the worksheet and paying attention to class. Or even if I post things on Google Classroom, like I tell them, listen, if you're going to work on the worksheet or on the guided notes, go on Google Classroom. Don't go on Google to find the answers. Go on Google Classroom, because that way I'm pretty much forcing them to read and find information from reading, not from typing the questions on Google, but they are going the easy way out. And I know that because they go on Google, they find the answer, and then they want me to give them a good grade for just typing what Google gave them. Especially on math problems, they just show me the answer, don't show me the procedure that they did to find the answer. So if you grade that, you're pretty much assuming that they're really understanding how to do the problem. But the thing is, like, when they don't show you the work, they're really not doing. They're really probably struggling with math. That's number one. Number two is they have no idea how to do that problem. Two, three, that's a Google answer. So you're just grading Google. So giving them a full credit for that is not a good idea. Um, so I have decided to not give them too many worksheets. The other day I decided to do things that are a bit different. I was talking the day before about how ions are formed, and the next day I went to Walmart. I purchased some salt, and I had three questions in the board, so I got them into something to spark their curiosity. So I asked them, "What is salt?" And they're like, "Oh, but you're the teacher. You have to teach us. You you have to tell us what it is. You know." And it's like, "What about this? What about you go on Google and you find what is salt?" And they found salt. Oh yeah, salt is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. So what two elements does salt has? Sodium and chloride. Okay, what kind of bond it makes salt? Well, it says ionic bond. Yes, ionic bond. So you are correct. Salt is made by ionic bond, and the reason that how it's made, it's like this. So I explain how salt is made with the ionic bond, give them terminology. I also explain that salt is a binary compounds. I also explain that sodium chloride is not the only salt. I have a different type of salt that I purchased that had potassium chloride, and explain these are other type of salts too, and they are they are made by ionic bonds too. Quote them in the board, give them the formula, um, and and then I ask them. So I explain them that some properties of the ionic compounds, and I told them I explained about the electrolytes, and the way that I did that was using a conductivity meter and water, pretty much. And I told them, so you've seen the movies and all that kind of stuff. So do you think water conducts electricity? And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not like, you're wrong. Pure water does not conduct electricity. And they're like, what? Yeah, pure water does not conduct electricity. And I showed them. I poured some distilled water in a beaker, and I had the conductivity meter, inserted the conductivity meter, and they could see that the light didn't came up. But you know how water can conduct electricity? And one of them is like, so you add salt to it? Yes. And I added salt. Then we stirred it, and then I showed them. So salt is now dissolved in water, so now those ions are floating around, and now water had what is called electrolytes. And I showed them, I inserted the multimeter, and the light pop up very bright, and I showed them that means that they're high um, electrolytes in there, and they were impressed. And one of the students went back, wouldn't it be interesting if we could compare the conductivity of different types of salt? And that's my realization came in because next generation science standards I want student to develop that kind of curiosity, and I think I just at that moment I just sparked that curiosity in that student, and it made me feel happy. It made me feel like okay, that is what I wanted to get, and in August that will have not happened because kids were not interested in that at all. Here I am in December, and I just did that, and I had one student coming up, not me. I didn't tell him to say that. He just came with the idea for a future research. And that's one of the things with the next generation science standard. They want students to develop skills, for example, planning, conducting an, a research. And that's what we teachers and teachers in science will have to get to. And I don't think using worksheets all the time is going to help students get to that point. So I think we'll have to switch um, the ways that we're teaching, especially because we're competing sometimes in school with phones, cell phone usage, which I think doesn't help students develop critical thinking skills because they're having their phones do those things for them. They are not even putting the effort to go and read a presentation. Back in my day, I didn't have a presentation. So we were given the textbook. Teachers will sometimes write in the board. We will take notes in notebooks. And yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant experience to learn. It was maybe not the best way to learn, but I did learn. I did okay. I studied science. I went to school. I to college. I graduated high school. I went to college. I did engineering. I was good in math too. Like I was really good in math. 17 years old, I was, I think, when I got into college, and I went into calculus, to calculus directly, and so the old ways of teaching still work. Um, New ways of teaching, new procedures. Somebody came up with something called like teach like a champion. I am sorry, but that is so idealized. Like you have ideal students for to be able to follow that so in such a disciplined way, and that is not working for me at all. Like I can have the do now. They don't care about doing the do now. They really don't. I push them through a work period. Um, the mini lesson. They don't want to go through a mini lesson. They just want to focus on the work period, on getting a worksheet done, and a grade quickly. They don't even want to hear me. They don't want to do anything else afterwards. Homework. I still feel homework works to learn, but what helps more is like telling the students to go after school, take time, go and read the presentations. I know they can't read because they can't read Google to put the answers back. So tell them to go online and read the presentations too, even if it's just 10 minutes. They're also going to supplement what I've been teaching them, especially if they're not understanding, learning how to do research. Like even my own learning, even now in college, I'm in a clean energy management program at Hudson Valley Community College, and I was taking an electricity class last year, and I was learning about motors, and there was something still that was a little bit difficult for me to understand. I went on YouTube, found some videos to learn more about motors, electrical motors, and so there's learning that has to happen outside to the classroom. Mm, So you have to put effort to outside of the classroom, not necessarily in the classroom. Um, so yeah, it's so my take again is that worksheets, just doing worksheets, is not enough for students to learn, especially when it comes to science, especially when it comes to math. There, I said it, you know. Um, and sometimes I think that we may have to use classes where we're just talking about science, where we're just letting kids explore, especially if we want to spark curiosity on students, because some of the students they really have no curiosity at all whatsoever. They're not curious. They're not curious. Like so, but I've noticed that the curiosity spark if I don't, if I'm a little bit more flexible, if I'm not too rigid in terms of like, oh yeah, we have now to do this, this, and this. That's where their curiosity sparks. So how can we use that to take the students away from like being on their phones? Um, that's a question that I'm asking myself. I don't think I have an answer to that at this point. But again, that's just what I have observed in my classroom. The behavior of the students where they sit down and they don't even want to pay attention to what you're saying, and they just want to do the worksheet using their phones, not even put time to think about it, not even use the calculators that you provide them or that I was providing them. Um, it's 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 tough. The idealized way of teaching doesn't work. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And again, they want me to do it in a specific way, but for me, it's not working. So I admit it. I've been pretty much scrapping the way that they want me to teach, because it's not working for me, and it's not working for science either, because not every day is going to be an activity is going to be that way. Um, so yeah. Anyway, that's all I got for now, and if you have any comments or ideas to teach specifically science, specifically chemistry, feel free to post them, honestly. Anyway, um, have a good day. Bye.